There you go.
Perfect.
So greetings, good people of planet Earth. My name is Richard Burroughs, Dick Burroughs to many, and I am the curator for a awesome exhibition. It's a group show. It's called Cover Lover Remix. And Cover Lover Remix is a group exhibition where artists remix or reinterpret their favorite and iconic album covers. Me and Sway, this artist is named Sway. Sway, how you doing, my good sir?
Fantastic. I also go by Ritchie Iwanski, but one or the other, whichever you prefer.
I was going to say that. I was going to get to the Ritchie because Sway and I have the Ritchie in common. And this is a series, an interview series of all the artists that are in Cover Lover Remix or CLR. And it almost gets to the, just talking to them about what's happening, what their influences are in regards to music, what album they chose to remix. And as we're sitting here, I can see you got a piece of yours behind you, Sway. What is that?
I do. This is actually Anna Nicole Smith. And the inspiration behind it was, I wanted to find a true American story of, someone's determination to rise. And, she's inspirational as hell.
Yes, she's definitely a inspirational story because she came from such meager means.
Oh man, I mean, when you really dive into her story and you find out she was a waitress at a chicken shack, and it's just like there's a lot of humble beginnings there that I think that get overlooked. I mean, she worked at Walmart before she decided to start dancing, and and the rest is history from there.
I can see that it's a collage piece. And I know that you are very fond of working in collage as a medium. So
Indeed.
Tell me, what's the process like as far as creating a collage piece?
Well, the process is, for me, complete meditation. And when I decide who my focal point is going to be, that's one of the most exciting times for me because now I have a direction. And my focus on it is I gather the materials. I always use authentic clippings. I think that's very important because, if you're going to print it, it's like it takes something away from the authenticity of the piece. So I work so hard to track down, vintage magazines and vintage articles that are applicable to the message I'm trying to convey in each piece. And I love that I get to learn so much about each individual that I get to, make an art piece of because, whether it's Anna Nicole Smith or Led Zeppelin or Kiss or Mike Tyson, it's just like I learned so much about these people that have been icons to me throughout my life that I've looked at and I've been like just in awe of at one time in my life or another, I mean, with Anna Nicole Smith, I mean, she's ridiculously beautiful, so I can't say that, she didn't catch my eye as a young man and she still holds a piece of my heart today. So that's wonderful. But, you learn so much about
a deep dive.
You do a deep dive and you learn so much about the artist that you're creating a piece of. And once I have all the clippings together, I do a nice trim. I clean up the edges of each, clipping I'm going to use. And then I normally set it out on the canvas. I get a look at what I'm going for. Yeah, I put together a color scheme. I put together how I want the focal point centered or however I want it portrayed or where I want them on the canvas. And then, I do my thing with the collage. And then once I have the piece laid out, it's dry because, a lot of it comes down to almost a paper mache method, really. But it's therapeutic for me, the whole process A to Z. And then when I actually get to paint on the canvas, I mean, it's a celebration.
Nice.
So,
nice. That's amazing. So I know that, you've done a variety of different icons. And, I know for Cover Lover Remix, what album cover did you choose?
So immediately, I knew exactly what I was going to go for when you hit me with this message, and it was Prince Purple Rain.
Rain.
It resonated right away like a bolt of lightning. you know. When you proposed that question, really the idea of the Cover Lover remix, it was just, I didn't even have to think, Dick.
Of
like
what?
it came in my mind. I was like, this is the artist I'm going to pursue for this endeavor. That's the album. And you know, there was not even a second thought. There wasn't anything other than Purple Rain.
Purple Rain. I mean, it's such an iconic album cover, and it was sort of a beautiful, not just a beautiful album, but it was a beautiful album cover. And then it had the other side of it, which was actually a movie. So it was it's a lot of energy behind doing Purple Rain cover, which is kind of, I think, you know, when you're up for a challenge, I really sort of I love the guts, you know, that's needed to do some of the more iconic albums, you know, because it's always like, almost as a recording artist, you know, you could kind of try to do you could do a remake of like a really wildly popular song, you know, and you get so much, it's such a gutsy move because, you know, it means so much to so many people that, you know, you don't know how people are going to take you messing with something that, you know, has such value to them, sentimental value, and moment in time value. Because, like, you know, music and albums and covers is almost like moment in time when you remember when you first heard that, you know, whether it's a super old album or it's a new album, right? So I know that, you know, a couple of remix sort of it investigates and platforms the relationship between the album, the music on the record, and the album cover, because it's always like the holy trinity of what the recording artist is trying to give you. The expression was through the music of the album. It was through the liner notes that they wrote about how they felt and who they thanked and their mindset, and it's the album art, right? And that's what Cover Lover Remix is all about. So then, as you're, you know, doing to get real super meta about it, as you're doing a remix of an album cover, how does actual music play into the process of your practice?
Well, music plays a huge part, but actually for this in particular, this particular piece, I was very fortunate because we have a film, you know? I mean, one of the great things about Purple Rain is that, like, 1984, you have, you know, Prince having the #1 film on the box office, the #1 hit single with one of my favorite songs, which is, you know, When Doves Cry. I mean, if that does, you know, it doesn't get your heart, I don't know what will. And then he had the #1 album because of Purple Rain as well. So you have this trifecta. You want to talk about a trinity? This man had it going on. Right. So for me, you know, during the creation of the piece, I mean, granted, you know, I love some of the info that I was getting from the various magazines that I was reading about Purple Rain. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, the original name I think that they were kicking around was Dreams, which, which is, I didn't know that. A lot of people know, is a super fun fact about the film. I love the fact that he presented the director with over 100 tracks. He literally opened up his vault and he was like, let's do this, you know? Oh, wow. You know, so you pick up this kind of information when you're diving into the work the way that I dive into the work, because I want to know my muse, I guess, so to speak, you know? Because when we're talking about Prince, we're talking about a homage. And really, when we're talking about Purple Rain, and that's the other thing I want to touch on. This is Purple Rain. It's not Prince, you know? Right. He's just a piece of the pie. So when you're talking about the inspiration in the film and, well, the music that's a part of the film, obviously playing the whole album in the back is something that's very eclectic while you're doing your thing. Actually, from doing a music artist, that's something I really like to do almost every time. But again, I had the film, so I'm watching the film, you know, it's like so much. It's like, that's not inspiration right there. Right. Yeah. But in general, like, when you are creating, you know, do you sort of utilize music in general? Oh, yes, of course. Like, for example, I guess if I'm working on a comic book piece, right? Like, that's when I'm really kind of doing my thing. And I'm either listening to some pretty severe hip hop, or I'm listening to, you know, some trance music or techno, you know, you know, I get down.
put you in the mind.
Yeah. I mean, like any artist, you know, it's really difficult to just show up on the scene and do your thing. I'm not saying I can't do that. I've been in the position to do it many a times, especially like, you know, if you're doing graffiti, which I have in my
Or outside, right?
In my history.
Right.
But I think that motivation and inspiration strike simultaneously, and when you have the foresight to know that it's time, and you make the time, you carve out the time, and you do it, that's huge, because sometimes inspiration strikes and you're not in the situation to act on that.
Right.
But yes. I try to put myself in a situation where I can always free up and get down, you know?
Right. And then I know you just mentioned comic books. That seems to be like, it's one of your favorite sort of topics when you create.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's no secret, you know, if you're in my world, then, you know, I'm a huge fan of comics, and it's very clear. You know, what really started me getting into the art scene about 8 years ago, almost 9 at this point, which is crazy to think that I've been doing this for just about a decade, you know, which is just like wild in itself. But, you know, I'm reading the Spider-Man comic back in Vegas when I resided there, and it was a great read. And I remember I closed this book and I just put it away, and I was like, no, this can't be. The art was too fresh. I can't. I took it open. I just started ripping it up, ripping the pages. And before I knew it, I collaged it on a canvas. And I mean, at that time, I was figuring out how to do like epoxy. So I mixed flour and water to make some sort of like concoction. And I laid it out that way because I was so determined. I wanted to strike while the iron is hot, you know, and I did it. And it was cool. It was cool. I wonder where that piece is now, but you know.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, look, what you said earlier, you know, the pressure of this kind of piece is one thing, but it's like, you know, as an artist, you look for that kind of pressure. You look for pressure because pressure makes diamonds. And I mean, I don't really know too many artists who just want to not shine. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, look, Dick, I mean, beyond that, it's just like the resonance of this and Purple Rain on my end, like, and the fact that I actually got to, you know, not only create something from a film that I thought was awesome, that inspired me as a young man, that I think once or twice I've mentioned to you how I worked at the House of Blues, and like they were doing Purple Rain night, like Wednesday nights, and I was underage and I got to work the back, and I'm seeing more, you know, Morris Day and the Time versus, you know, Prince and the Revolution, like every Wednesday night, like that does something to a young man, you know? So it's an honor. It's an honor.
Sure enough, brother. Sure enough. Do you have a current show up? Is that what or did the show just come down?
Actually, I just wrapped up a show at 17 Frost Street over in Brooklyn and Williamsburg, and it was amazing. I mean, honestly, I feel so blessed that folks would take the time and come out, and it was fantastic. We had a really, really good crowd, really amazing people that came out to enjoy music, enjoy art, and I was very fortunate to be the headliner and only artist that was featured in the show. So that was really cool, and I appreciated it. So it was an amazing experience, and I look forward to having another show very, very soon. You know, and trust me, the anticipation for the cover lover is huge.
I do also see that you got that Bulls Robin jersey. I see
it's my 91. You know, it's my guy. That's my guy.
Right. That's pretty dope. That was a very, like, I would say, as a creative guy, that's one of the most creative basketball players. Like
as defense 101.
Defense 101. And he was an expression. Like he was an expression guy. Like he expressed himself. You know what I mean? So I can see that's how I gravitated toward this cat. You know, it's just like, it was more than just a hairstyle. It was like, this is a whole way of life. Double Team. Once I saw a Double Team, forget it. Right. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. But I really appreciate you talking to me, doing this interview. I know you've been a busy man, and I know you've been around.
I will carve time out any day of the week. Any day of the week. And I mean, look, to take the time to talk about Prince, and to take the time to talk about Purple Rain, and you know,
and talk about art. All right, so that's my talk with my guy Sway. I appreciate your time, appreciate your art, appreciate you as a human, and I will see you soon.
I will see you soon.
Cover Level Remix, the exhibition. It's a group show where artists remix, iconic, and favorite album covers. Thanks to you, brother.
All the best. I'll see you soon.
Yes, brother. Peace.
Peace.